Since the dawn of time, humanity has always sought to understand the invisible connections between the body, mind, and the universe. One of these intriguing and powerful concepts is the Merkabah. The term, which in Hebrew means chariot or vehicle, is a profound symbol in spirituality and mysticism. More than just a simple metaphor, the Merkabah represents the connection between the physical and spiritual planes, offering a bridge for those seeking the path of ascension. But what exactly is this vehicle of light, and why does it hold such fascination in spiritual practices across various cultures? The Merkabah, in essence, is described as a structure of light composed of two interlocked tetrahedrons that form a six-pointed star. This geometry is known to create an energy field around the body, facilitating a connection to higher dimensions and ultimately serving as a tool for spiritual ascension. The concept of a vehicle that can transport the spirit beyond the limitations of matter deeply resonates with those who seek self-discovery and enlightenment. Historically, the concept of Merkabah emerges within Jewish mysticism, particularly in Kabbalistic traditions. The earliest references to the term can be found in the Book of Ezekiel. In the Hebrew Bible, where the prophet describes a vision of heavenly chariots that transport divine beings, Ezekiel sees a chariot composed of wheels within wheels, moved by angels with four faces: human, lion, ox, and eagle. This powerful image symbolizes the idea that the Merkabah is not just a physical vehicle, but also a spiritual one, designed to connect the human soul to the divine. Over time, the interpretation of the Merkabah evolved, especially within the study of Kabbalah, where it is understood as a key to accessing higher levels of consciousness. In Kabbalah, the Merkabah is seen as a mechanism for unlocking the deepest mysteries of creation and existence. For mystics, this spiritual chariot represents the vehicle that can carry the soul to the divine throne, allowing for a deeper understanding of the nature of reality. Beyond its Jewish origins, the Merkabah is also found in various spiritual traditions around the world. Ancient cultures spoke of chariots of light, or spiritual vehicles, that transported the souls of initiates beyond the veil of physical existence. The ancient Egyptians, for example, believed in the solar bark, a divine vessel that carried the spirit to the stars after death. These stories can be seen as parallels to the Merkabah concept, reinforcing the idea that the desire for spiritual ascension is universal. In contemporary spirituality, the concept of the Merkabah has gained new life through esoteric practices and meditations. Many believe that activating the Merkabah within the human body can create a powerful energy field that allows access to other dimensions and parallel realities. This activation involves breathing practices, visualizations, and heightened states of consciousness, all designed to awaken the light body. Those who follow this path believe that the Merkabah can not only transport the soul after death, but also enable the expansion of consciousness while we are alive. The modern use of the Merkabah, therefore, goes beyond mere spiritual curiosity. Many traditions teach that the activation of this light vehicle is a necessary step toward achieving a spiritual ascension. Ascension, in this context, is not seen as an escape from the physical world, but as a transcendence of the limitations of common perception, allowing the individual to live in a state of expanded consciousness and harmony with universal forces. For many practitioners, the journey of Merkabah activation is a powerful metaphor for the process of self-discovery and inner transformation. By learning to visualize and feel this geometry of light around the body, individuals begin to align their energy with higher patterns, preparing themselves to receive insights and mystical experiences. This process is not just intellectual, but deeply experiential, offering a bridge between spiritual knowledge and daily practice. Another fascinating aspect of the Merkabah is its relationship with soul sacred geometry. The six-pointed star shape that composes the Merkabah is often associated with the flower of life, a symbol that contains the fundamental patterns of creation. Geometry, in this sense, is seen as a language of the universe, and the Merkabah, with its perfect form, is an expression of this divine language. By studying and activating this geometry, it is believed that we can attune our consciousness to universal laws. This idea of resonance with the universe through the Merkabah leads us to another important point: energy healing. Many people report that by working with the Merkabah, they can clear energetic blockages and harmonize their physical, mental, and spiritual energies. The Merkabah, in this sense, is seen not only as a vehicle of ascension, but also as a tool for healing and balance, helping the individual find alignment between their body, mind, and spirit. At the end of this introduction, it is important to remember that the study and practice of the Merkabah are deeply personal. For some, it is a symbol of hope and transformation. For others, it is a practical tool for spiritual evolution. Regardless of perspective, the Merkabah continues to inspire and guide those seeking the path of enlightenment and awakening. When we dive into the depths of history, we find the earliest mentions of the Merkabah at the heart of Jewish mysticism. The tradition of the Merkabah dates back more than 2,000 years, with its roots firmly planted in sacred texts and the visionary experiences of prophets and mystics. The term is first mentioned in the Book of Ezekiel, which describes a striking vision of a celestial chariot supported by multi-faced creatures and gleaming wheels. This vision, often called the Vision of the Merkabah, laid the foundation for one of the most mysterious and enigmatic pillars of Jewish mysticism, the spiritual journey to the divine realm. In Jewish tradition, the Merkabah is not just a symbol of spiritual power, but also a profound and transformative experience. The mystics dedicated to this study were known as the Merkavists. They strove to decipher the secrets contained in the visions and meditations related to the celestial chariot. Their practices involved intense meditations and advanced techniques to reach elevated states of consciousness. It was believed that by performing these practices, adepts could ascend to the heavens and witness the throne of God, directly feeling divine power and presence. The last Book of Ezekiel, written around the 6th century BC, is considered the starting point for the study of the Merkabah. However, interpretations of this text evolved over the centuries, especially within the mysticism of Kabbalah, which emerged strongly during the Middle Ages. Kabbalah, an esoteric and symbolic tradition of Judaism, deepened the understanding of the Merkabah as a tool for exploring the hidden secrets of the universe and creation. Within this perspective, the Merkabah was not just a celestial chariot, but a representation of the soul's inner journey toward union with the divine. For Kabbalistic scholars, the Merkabah represents the quest for hidden knowledge and the understanding of the mysteries of existence. Kabbalah views reality as an interconnected fabric of divine energies, and the Merkabah is the vehicle that allows the initiate to penetrate these spheres of energy and wisdom. In many Kabbalistic teachings, the Merkabah is associated with the Sephirot, the divine emanations or attributes of God. By traveling through the Merkabah, mystics believed they could draw closer to these spheres and eventually reach the Ein Sof, the infinite divine. This quest, however, was neither simple nor without risks. Ancient texts dealing with the Merkabah often speak of the dangers mystics faced when trying to access these elevated realms of consciousness. The journey through the celestial spheres was described as perilous, and only those who were spiritually pure and properly prepared could undertake it without being destroyed by the powerful energies they encountered. Many stories tell of mystics who attempted this ascent and did not return, warning of the seriousness and challenges of this spiritual practice. In the early centuries of the Christian era, texts known as Hachalot emerged. describing in detail the techniques and experiences of those who sought to travel with the Merkabah. These texts speak of the 7 celestial spheres that the practitioner had to pass through to reach the throne of God, each guarded by angels and divine beings who would test the traveler's purity and spiritual strength. The journey was full of challenges, and only the most courageous and determined could pass through all the gates without being diverted from their path. A fascinating aspect of Merkabah traditions is the use of hymns and chants. In the Hakalot texts, practitioners were instructed to chant sacred songs and invocations while meditating, helping to align their energies with celestial forces and protect their soul during the journey. These practices of chanting and meditation resonate with many mystical traditions around the world, which use sound and vibration as means of achieving elevated states of consciousness. Besides visionary and meditative practices, Merkabah mystics were also deeply concerned with moral and spiritual purification. It was believed that only those who lived lives of extreme purity, dedicated to study and prayer, were worthy of accessing the mysteries of the Merkabah. This emphasis on spiritual preparation reflects the belief that access to the divine is not something to be taken lightly, but a process that requires discipline, dedication, and humility. Another crucial point in the study of the Merkabah within Jewish mysticism is its relationship with the concept of ascension. For mystics, ascension through the Merkabah was not simply a journey to heaven, but a complete transformation of the soul. The journey involved overcoming worldly desires and purifying the ego, allowing the individual to experience unity with God. This idea of spiritual ascension resonated deeply in later mystical traditions, influencing practices in both Judaism and other esoteric religions. Over time, the study of the Merkabah lost some of its popularity, especially with the rise of other esoteric currents in Judaism, such as Lurianic Kabbalah, which emphasized the concept of tikkun olam, or the repair of the world. However, the impact of Merkabah teachings remained strong, inspiring mystical practices and meditations to this day. The legacy of the Merkabah continues to resonate as a symbol of spiritual quest, a journey into the unknown, and a connection with the divine. Finally, the Merkabah, in the context of Jewish mysticism, is not just a distant or abstract concept. For practitioners past and present, it symbolizes the hope of transcending the limitations of material existence and achieving a deeper understanding of the universe and oneself. By studying and meditating on the Merkabah, mystics believed they were touching the secrets of the cosmos, traveling beyond the stars, and drawing closer to divine power. Sacred geometry is a fascinating concept that repeatedly arises in various spiritual traditions worldwide, and the Merkabah is deeply rooted in this understanding of the universe as a space structured by perfect forms. When we talk about this sacred geometry, we are referring to shapes seen as expressions of the divine pattern, manifesting the underlying order of the cosmos. The Merkabah, with its shape of 2 interlocked tetrahedrons, is one of the most iconic examples of this geometry. It represents the fusion between the physical and spiritual worlds, symbolizing the connection between heaven and earth. Visually, the Merkabah is formed by 2 three-dimensional tetrahedrons, or triangular-based pyramids, that intersect. One tetrahedron points upward, symbolizing the masculine, the sky, and spirituality. The other points downward, representing the feminine, the earth, and materiality. This union of masculine and feminine is a common theme in many spiritual traditions, symbolizing the balance of opposing forces. This intersection, often called the three-dimensional Star of David, is seen as a structure capable of generating a field of light around the physical and spiritual body. This perfect geometric form is not just a static representation. In spiritual practices that use the Merkabah, It is believed that upon activation, these tetrahedrons begin to spin in opposite directions. This movement creates an energy field around the body, often called the Merkabah field, which allows the practitioner to access higher levels of consciousness and perception. The spinning of the tetrahedrons is seen as a powerful tool for aligning the body with universal frequencies, leading to spiritual expansion. But where does this idea come from, that geometry can have such a profound impact on our spiritual experience? The answer can be found in the concept of sacred geometry, which views these shapes as the fundamental building blocks of creation. The Merkabah, like other forms of sacred geometry, is present in natural patterns we encounter all around us, from the formation of crystals to planetary orbits. These patterns are seen as expressions of the universal laws that govern existence, and by working with these shapes, we can attune our own energy to these laws. The Merkabah specifically is closely linked to the concept of the flower of life, an ancient symbol found in various cultures that represents the patterns of the universe's creation. The flower of life is a structure made up of interconnected circles, forming a harmonious matrix, and within this matrix, we can find the shape of the Merkabah. The study of the flower of life, and by extension the Merkabah, suggests that these geometric shapes hold the key to understanding the secrets of creation and life. Another important aspect of the Merkabah as sacred geometry is its role in energy harmonization. It is believed that the shape of the Merkabah can help align the body's energy centers, known as chakras, creating a harmonious energy flow. When the chakras are aligned and balanced, the body and mind function in greater harmony with the universe, allowing a deeper connection with spiritual realms. This balance is fundamental to the process of spiritual ascension, which involves transcending material limitations and expanding consciousness. Modern science also has an interest in the idea that geometric shapes can influence energy fields. In physics, there is the concept of fractal geometry, which describes patterns that repeat on various scales throughout the universe, from galaxies to atoms. These patterns can be seen as an expression of the underlying order of the cosmos, and many spiritual scholars believe that the Merkabah and other sacred geometric shapes function in the same way. They express patterns that exist on subtle levels of reality, and by working with these shapes, we can access these subtle levels. In spiritual practice, the Merkabah is not just a visual shape, but a tool for transformation. Meditations that use the visualization of the Merkabah involve creating a field of light around the body, which protects and elevates the practitioner's consciousness. This field of light, often called the Merkabah Light Body, or Vehicle of Light, is seen as an extension of the spiritual self. By activating the Merkabah, the individual is awakening their light body and preparing for spiritual journeys and mystical experiences. Many spiritual traditions also teach that the Merkabah can serve as a vehicle for astral travel, or to access other dimensions of existence. In this context, the Merkabah is seen as a spiritual ship that can transport consciousness beyond physical limits. Experienced practitioners report that, while meditating with the Merkabah, they can access heightened states of consciousness, travel to other realms of existence, and gain deep insights into the nature of reality. The symbolism of the Merkabah as a vehicle for spiritual ascension is not only theoretical, but also profoundly practical. Those who dedicate themselves to the practice of activating their Merkabah often report a sense of mental clarity and an increase in intuition and spiritual perception. This clarity is seen as the result of harmonizing the body's energies with universal forces, allowing the practitioner to access higher states of being and understanding. At the end of this exploration of the sacred geometry of the Merkabah, we see that it represents much more than just a simple form. It is a reflection of the universe's underlying structure and a practical tool for spiritual evolution. By working with this geometry, we are not only connecting with the divine, but also awakening our potential to ascend beyond the limitations of the body and mind. The Merkabah is much more than just a theoretical concept of geometry or spirituality. It is often described as a vehicle of light, a practical and transformative tool for those seeking spiritual ascension. At the heart of this idea is the belief that the Merkabah can transport a person's consciousness beyond physical and material limitations, allowing a direct connection to higher spiritual realms. To fully understand the potential of the Merkabah, it is essential to grasp what spiritual ascension means and how the Merkabah facilitates this process. Spiritual ascension is described in many mystical traditions as the elevation of consciousness, a movement toward unity with the divine. It is not just an isolated experience, but an ongoing process of transformation, where the individual transcends the desires and limitations of the ego to align with spiritual truth. In this context, the Merkabah is seen as a vehicle of transition, carrying the practitioner from a mundane understanding of reality to a state of enlightenment. According to various spiritual traditions, the Merkabah energy field can be activated through specific practices of meditation and of visualization, allowing the individual to feel their consciousness expand beyond the physical body. When properly activated, the Merkabah transforms into a rotational energy field surrounding the body, creating protection while simultaneously raising the practitioner's vibrational frequency. This energy field acts as a vehicle of light that can transport consciousness to other levels of existence or higher dimensions. The Merkabah is also closely connected to the concept of the Marao, light body, which appears in various spiritual traditions. The light body is understood as a subtle energetic field that surrounds and transcends the physical body. Activating the Merkabah awakens and strengthens this light body, allowing the individual to experience expanded states of consciousness and ultimately a deeper connection to the divine. By activating the Merkabah, the practitioner creates a bridge between the material and spiritual worlds, allowing their consciousness to travel beyond physical limits. This process of activation is not instantaneous, but involves a continuous and dedicated practice. Spiritual practitioners throughout history have described ascension as a path of discipline and self-discovery. Deep meditations, specific breathing techniques, and visualizations of light are methods used to activate the Merkabah and align the body's energies with higher realms. The practice of the Merkabah, then, is seen as a spiritual journey, where the individual gradually accesses higher levels of perception and understanding. Beyond the expansion of consciousness, the Merkabah has also been associated with the ability to astral travel and explore other dimensions. Many practitioners report that by activating the Merkabah, they can leave their physical bodies and travel with their consciousness to other spiritual realms. These accounts describe experiences where the practitioner feels a sense of lightness and liberation from the material body, allowing their consciousness to explore planes of existence beyond the physical world, either to gain insights, spiritual guides, or transformative experiences. Another important aspect of the Merkabah as a vehicle of ascension is its ability to protect and purify the practitioner. When activated, the Merkabah not only facilitates the expansion of consciousness, but also creates an energetic barrier that protects against negative influences or dense energies. This protection is seen as crucial for those seeking to access elevated states of being, as the energies of the material world can interfere with the ascension process. Additionally, the Merkabah purifies the practitioner's energy field, helping to release blockages and promote inner harmony. However, spiritual ascension through the Merkabah is not simply about traveling to other realms or spiritual protection. At its core, it is about inner transformation. As the practitioner works to activate and maintain the Merkabah energy field, they undergo a process of emotional, mental, and spiritual purification. This involves releasing negative thought patterns, fears, and ego limitations, allowing the individual to move toward a state of balance and unity with the divine. This process of ascension and transformation through the Merkabah also has profound implications for how we live our daily lives. Those who activate and work with the Merkabah often report a sense of spiritual clarity, increased compassion, and a deep sense of purpose in their lives. Through the Merkabah, the individual learns to see the world with new eyes, recognizing the interconnection of all things and living in greater harmony with the spiritual laws of the universe. The activation of the Merkabah, therefore, is not just an abstract spiritual goal, but a practice that can have a tangible impact on how we relate to the world around us. Modern practitioners of the Merkabah speak of an enhanced ability to manifest intentions, heightened intuition, and a profound inner peace as some of the benefits resulting from the practice. By attuning to the energies of the Merkabah, the individual begins to live in alignment with their true spiritual essence. Ultimately, the Merkabah is a symbol of spiritual evolution and the journey of the human being toward enlightenment. It reminds us that while we are physical beings, we have within us the potential to access higher states of existence and consciousness. The Merkabah offers a practical tool for this ascension, providing a path for personal and spiritual transformation. Through the activation of the Merkabah, we become capable of transcending the limitations of matter and accessing the infinite power of light and spirit. The activation of the Merkabah is a deeply spiritual process that involves specific practices of meditation, breathing, and visualization. Over the centuries, different spiritual traditions have developed their own approaches to activate this vehicle of light, all with the same goal: to create an energy field around the body and expand consciousness to higher levels. Although techniques vary, there are common elements that appear in almost all practices, and it is on these elements that we will focus to understand how the Merkabah can be activated. One of the main methods used to activate the Merkabah is guided meditation, where the practitioner visualizes two interconnected tetrahedrons spinning around their body. The upward-pointing tetrahedron, associated with masculine energy and spirit, spins clockwise, while the downward-pointing tetrahedron, representing feminine energy and the earth, spins counterclockwise. This movement creates the Merkabah light field, which surrounds the practitioner. During this visualization, the focus should be on feeling the energy field expanding, protecting, and elevating consciousness. In addition to visualization, conscious breathing plays a vital role in activating the Merkabah. Rhythmic breathing techniques are used to synchronize the mind and body, allowing energy to flow freely through the energy centers, or chakras. One of the most well-known methods is prana breathing, where the practitioner inhales deeply while visualizing vital energy being absorbed into the body, then exhales any negative energy or blockages. This breathing practice cleanses and prepares the energy field, facilitating the activation of the Merkabah. A key point in many of these practices is the integration of the chakras. When activated, the Merkabah connects and aligns the 7 main chakras, creating harmony between the physical body and the subtle bodies. For many practitioners, Merkabah activation can only be achieved when the chakras are balanced and energy flows without obstructions. Therefore, preparatory practices for chakra balancing, such as the use of crystals or meditations focused on each of the energy centers, are recommended before attempting to activate the light vehicle. Another essential practice for activating the Merkabah involves the use of Din mudras and He mantras. Mudras, specific hand gestures that channel energy, help direct the energy flow during meditation. Meanwhile, mantras, sacred sounds or phrases, create a vibration that resonates with the Merkabah energy field. One of the most commonly used mantras is Om, which represents the universe's primordial vibration. By chanting this mantra during meditation, the practitioner aligns their personal frequency with the universal frequency, preparing the energy field for the Merkabah's activation. There are also more modern teachings that associate Merkabah activation with practices of unsacred geometry, where the practitioner studies and meditates on geometric patterns such as the flower of life or Metatron's cube. These patterns are seen as the fundamental building blocks of creation, and meditating on them helps to tune the mind and body to universal laws. Sacred geometry, when integrated into meditation and visualization practices, strengthens the individual's ability to activate the Merkabah and enter expanded states of consciousness. Many practitioners also use crystals and energy tools to assist in Merkabah activation. Crystals such as clear quartz and amethyst are frequently used for their amplifying and purifying properties. These crystals can be placed around the body or held in the hands during meditation, helping to intensify the energy and protect the energy field. The use of crystals helps to maintain a high vibration and create an environment conducive to Merkabah activation. An interesting approach is that of group meditations. When several people gather to practice Merkabah activation, the collective energy generated by the group can amplify the effects of the practice. The presence of multiple energy fields in resonance creates an environment of harmony that can facilitate the activation process, not only for beginners, but also for more advanced practitioners. This shared energy can create a more intense experience of expanded consciousness, something that many spiritual groups adopt to deepen their practice. In addition to formal meditation practices, the clear intention and a mental state of the practitioner are crucial components for success in activating the Merkabah. The process of spiritual ascension is not only technical, but also deeply connected to the inner state. Having a clear intention for spiritual growth, aligned with feelings of gratitude, love, and compassion, helps create the necessary energetic frequency for Merkabah activation. Without a clear spiritual intention, the practice may be superficial, without generating the expected transformative effects. Finally, it is important to remember that Merkabah activation is a practice that requires patience and consistency. It is not something that can be accomplished in a single meditation session. Many practitioners report that considerable preparation time and continuous practice are needed to truly feel the effects of the activated Merkabah in their lives. However, this continuous practice brings lasting benefits, such as greater spiritual clarity, increased intuition, and a deep sense of connection with the universe. These practices, when performed regularly and with dedication, can help the practitioner fully activate the Merkabah and experience expanded consciousness. Merkabah activation is not just an esoteric technique, but a personal and spiritual journey. It invites the practitioner to transform their relationship with the world and themselves, offering a powerful tool for spiritual ascension and inner development. The concept of the Merkabah transcends the boundaries of Jewish spirituality and appears, symbolically or practically, in various occult and spiritual traditions around the world. Although its origins are rooted in Jewish mysticism and the teachings of Kabbalah, its essence, as a vehicle of light and ascension, has resonated in cultures and esoteric practices across different times and places. When exploring the Merkabah in other traditions, we discover that the human desire to reach higher realms and transcend physical limitations is a universal theme, present in many forms of spirituality and occultism. In Western occult tradition, which combines elements of alchemy, hermeticism, and ceremonial magic, the Merkabah is seen as a powerful symbol of transformation and spiritual elevation. Within these currents, the Merkabah is often associated with the concept of the light body, the spiritual vehicle that allows the practitioner to navigate astral planes. Hermetic magicians and practitioners of orders like the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn use the Merkabah as a tool for meditation and astral travel, believing that by activating this light vehicle, they can access higher levels of wisdom and perception. Hermetic teachings, deeply influenced by ancient Greek and Egyptian philosophies, also focus on the idea of a subtle or luminous body. In Hermeticism, the concept of ascension involves liberating the spirit from the bonds of matter. The Merkabah, with its sacred geometry and ability to elevate the spirit, is understood as a key to this process of liberation. The pursuit of hidden knowledge, enlightenment, and personal transformation are recurring themes in Hermeticism, and the Merkabah fits perfectly into this context as a tool that aids the journey toward enlightenment. In ancient Egypt, we find intriguing symbolic parallels with the Merkabah through the concept of the solar bark. Just as the Merkabah is seen as a vehicle that transports the soul through spiritual realms, the Egyptians believed that, after death, the pharaoh and other initiates would journey across the skies aboard a celestial bark, accompanying the god Ra in his journey through the underworld and the world of the living. This light vehicle served both for the soul's ascension and its transformation into a divine being, a concept that echoes the function of the Merkabah in Jewish and occult traditions. Another point of connection between the Merkabah and ancient cultures is the use of sacred geometry. As a tool for spiritual ascension, the Great Pyramid of Giza, for example, is considered by many esoteric scholars as a monument of sacred geometry designed to facilitate spiritual elevation. The pyramidal shape of the Merkabah, represented by the two interlocked tetrahedrons, also refers to the geometric wisdom that the ancient Egyptians seemed to master. The pyramid, like the Merkabah, is seen as a form that connects heaven and earth, serving as a channel between the physical and spiritual realms. The concept of the Merkabah is also present in Eastern traditions, such as Hinduism and Tibetan Buddhism, where we find the concept of the light body, called the rainbow body, in Tibet. Practitioners of Tibetan Buddhism believe that through deep meditations and rigorous spiritual practices, it is possible to transform the physical body into pure light at the moment of death, reaching an elevated state of consciousness. Although the specific geometric symbolism of the Merkabah does not appear in these traditions, the concept of ascension through a vehicle of light is a common idea, showing how the desire for transcendence is universal. In the esoteric practice of Da'as Sufism, Islamic mysticism, we find the quest for union with the divine through visionary experiences and contemplative practices. Although the term Merkabah is not used, many Sufis speak of their soul's mystical journey through spiritual realms, similar to the idea of traveling through the Merkabah. Sufism emphasizes the heart as the center of spiritual connection, and practitioners believe that by purifying the heart and soul, they can draw closer to God. This spiritual journey, which involves transcending the physical self and merging with the divine, echoes the purpose of the Merkabah as a vehicle of ascension. In shamanism, the idea of traveling between spiritual worlds using a light or spirit vehicle is also present. Shamans from various cultures, from Native American traditions to Siberian ones, use trance and meditation practices to travel between the world of the living and the spiritual world. Although the term Merkabah is not used in these contexts, the concept of a spiritual vehicle that allows navigation between dimensions and the gaining of wisdom is a fundamental idea in shamanism. This journey is carried out with the help of spirit guides and animal totems, but the essence of spiritual travel resonates with Merkabah symbolism. Another fascinating example is found in the esoteric tradition of Yao theosophy, which emerged in the 19th century. Theosophy, which combines elements of Eastern and Western spirituality, speaks of the concept of vehicles of consciousness, which allow the human soul to access higher levels of existence. Merkabah activation fits perfectly into theosophical teachings on ascension and spiritual evolution, offering a path for the practitioner to transcend the limitations of the physical body and explore spiritual realms. Examining these traditions, it becomes clear that the Merkabah, at its core, represents a universal synthesis of the human desire to transcend the material plane and connect with the divine. Whether in Jewish mysticism, Western occult practices, Eastern traditions, or shamanic rites, the concept of a light vehicle that transports the soul beyond physical limitations is a recurring theme. While the forms and names vary, the underlying message is the same. Spiritual ascension is possible, and human beings have within them the potential to access higher levels of consciousness and being. Therefore, the Merkabah, as a vehicle of light and spiritual ascension, is not exclusive to a single tradition, but a universal symbol that speaks to the heart of all cultures that have sought to understand and experience the mystery of existence. By exploring the meaning of the Merkabah through different traditions, we see how this powerful symbol continues to inspire and guide those seeking spiritual growth, transcendence, and union with the divine. The concept of spiritual ascension is at the heart of many mystical traditions, and the Merkabah is seen as one of the most powerful tools for achieving this elevated state of consciousness. Ascending spiritually does not simply mean escaping the physical world, but transcending its limitations, reaching a deeper union with the divine and the true essence of existence. The Merkabah, in its geometric form of light, represents this process of spiritual elevation, helping the practitioner connect with higher levels of reality and consciousness. But what is the true meaning of this ascension, and how does it manifest in spiritual practice? First and foremost, spiritual ascension is not a destination but a journey. It is the result of an inner transformation that occurs as the individual releases attachments, fears, and illusions of the material world, allowing their soul to rise to purer and higher states of being. In this sense, the Merkabah is a symbol of this journey, representing the vehicle that carries consciousness beyond the barriers of ordinary perception. The sacred geometry of the Merkabah, with its two interlocked tetrahedrons, symbolizes the balance between the physical and the spiritual, the masculine and the feminine, heaven and earth, fundamental aspects of the ascension process. To ascend spiritually, one must first undergo a purification of the mind and heart. The process of activating the Merkabah begins with clearing the energetic and emotional blockages that impede the flow of vital energy. Emotional, mental, and spiritual purification is an essential part of this journey. By practicing meditations focused on the Merkabah, the individual is essentially aligning their energy with universal patterns, harmonizing with the spiritual laws that govern the cosmos. The Merkabah, therefore, is not just a vehicle for the soul, but a reflection of one's inner state, where clarity and purity are prerequisites for ascension. Another central aspect of ascension through the Merkabah is the expansion of consciousness. When the Merkabah's light field is activated, it allows the practitioner to access levels of reality beyond physical senses. This expansion of consciousness is not limited to mystical experiences or transcendent visions, but also manifests in everyday life. Those who activate their Merkabah often report a greater awareness of their connection to the whole, a sharper intuition, and a deeper understanding of the energies around them. Ascension, in this sense, involves a new way of seeing the world, where everything is interconnected and consciousness is in harmony with universal truth. Ascension, through the Merkabah, is also deeply tied to the concept of unity. Many spiritual traditions teach that, in its essence, the human being is an expression of the divine, and the spiritual journey is a return to this original unity. The Merkabah symbolizes this journey of return, where the practitioner reconnects with the whole, transcending the separation between the individual self and the universe. When the Merkabah is activated, it creates a bridge between the microcosm and the macrocosm, allowing the individual to feel this unity directly and profoundly. In more practical terms, spiritual ascension brings a profound change in perception. Those who activate their Merkabah often report a sense of inner peace, mental clarity, and renewed purpose in their lives. These changes are the result of the individual's vibrational frequency being elevated and aligned with higher energetic patterns. This new perception allows the individual to better deal with life's challenges, seeing them from a broader and spiritual perspective, rather than being overwhelmed by limited emotions and thoughts. Energy healing is also a fundamental component of spiritual ascension through the Merkabah. When activated, the Merkabah creates a light field around the body, helping to eliminate blockages and restore energetic balance. This light field protects the practitioner from negative external influences, promoting a sense of safety and well-being. Additionally, the Merkabah harmonizes internal energies, facilitating healing not only on the physical level, but also on the emotional, mental, and spiritual levels. Over time, this healing allows the practitioner to live in a state of greater balance and alignment with their true nature. The process of ascension also brings with it a spiritual awakening. This awakening can occur gradually as the practitioner deepens their practice, or it can be more sudden, manifesting as a transformative experience of consciousness. In any case, spiritual awakening is a direct consequence of Merkabah activation, which elevates consciousness and opens the individual to higher levels of understanding and perception. This awakening is, in many ways, the ultimate goal of ascension, as it represents the complete integration of the soul with the divine. Spiritual ascension through the Merkabah is not, however, an escape from the material world. In fact, it involves bringing spirituality into everyday life. Those who ascend through the Merkabah do not abandon their earthly responsibilities, but learn to live more consciously and balanced. True ascension is not a rejection of matter, but a transformation of how we relate to the world. The Merkabah, as a symbol of ascension, reminds us that we can live in the physical world, but with an elevated spiritual consciousness, acting as bridges between heaven and earth. Another crucial aspect of ascension through the Merkabah is the integration of love and compassion. As the individual ascends, they begin to experience a deep connection with all beings, recognizing the interconnectedness of all life. This awakening of universal compassion and love is a fundamental characteristic of ascension, as it reflects the elevation of consciousness to a level where the ego is transcended, and unconditional love becomes the motivating force of life. The Merkabah, as a vehicle of light, allows the practitioner to feel and express this love more fully. Finally, spiritual ascension through the Merkabah is a journey of self-discovery. As the practitioner activates their light vehicle and elevates their consciousness, they begin to explore the depths of their own soul, discovering aspects of themselves that were previously hidden. This process of self-knowledge is essential for ascension, as it is through it that the individual reconnects with their true divine essence. The Merkabah facilitates this inner journey, allowing the practitioner to explore not only spiritual realms, but also the mysteries of their own soul. As we approach the conclusion of this journey into the understanding of the Merkabah, it is essential to reflect on the impact that this knowledge can have on our daily lives. The Merkabah, as we have seen, is not just an esoteric tool or a theoretical concept reserved for mystics, but a practical and accessible symbol of spiritual transformation and personal evolution. Its implications go far beyond meditations and deep spiritual teachings. It offers all of us an opportunity to reconnect with our true essence and live more consciously and balanced. The Merkabah reminds us that we all have the capacity to access higher levels of consciousness, and that spiritual ascension is not the privilege of a few, but a path open to all who are willing to practice and dedicate themselves to their inner journey. The key lies in consistent practice, meditation, and the search for inner balance. By working with the Merkabah, the practitioner attunes themselves to the natural flow of the universe, making room for a more harmonious and meaningful life. In a personal context, the Merkabah teaches us about the sound power of intention. Many times in life, we feel trapped by the limitations of the physical world, daily demands, and the challenges we face. The practice of the Merkabah invites us to rise above these limitations, using our clear and focused intention to transform the way we perceive and interact with the world. The simple act of visualizing the Merkabah's light field around us can help create a sense of protection, safety, and clarity amid life's adversities. Additionally, the concept of the Merkabah reminds us of the importance of balance. The symbol of the Merkabah, with its two interlocked tetrahedrons, points to the harmony between masculine and feminine, heaven and earth, the spiritual and the material. This message of balance is deeply relevant in our modern lives, where we are often pulled in opposite directions, trying to balance work, relationships, and personal growth. The practice of the Merkabah encourages us to cultivate this inner balance, reminding us that true spiritual ascension involves integrating all aspects of who we are. Another important point of the Merkabah is its role as a healing tool. By activating the light field around us, we can not only protect our energy field, but also heal it. The regular practice of the Merkabah can help release energetic and emotional blockages, promoting a state of physical, mental, and spiritual well-being. This healing is not just an individual process, but also affects how we interact with others and the world around us. When we are energetically aligned, we can relate more harmoniously to the challenges and opportunities that arise in our lives. In practical application, it is important to remember that the Merkabah is not limited to the time we spend in meditation or introspection. It can be integrated into our daily lives in various ways. For example, we can start the day with a visualization of the Merkabah, activating its light field to protect and guide us throughout the day's activities. We can also use it in moments of stress or uncertainty, visualizing the Merkabah spinning around us and restoring our inner balance. These simple yet powerful practices can significantly impact how we face daily demands. Moreover, the Merkabah as a vehicle for expanding consciousness reminds us of the importance of cultivating an open and receptive mindset. As we activate this light vehicle, we are called to expand our perception and see beyond the superficial appearances of reality. This translates, in practical terms, into how we relate to life's challenges. The practice of the Merkabah helps us look at situations with a new perspective, seeing them as opportunities for growth and transformation rather than obstacles. Another practical aspect of the Merkabah is its ability to facilitate manifestation of our intentions. By aligning our energy with universal patterns, the Merkabah helps us manifest our desires and intentions more effectively. The practice of the Merkabah involves creating a powerful energy field that can amplify our intentions and help bring about the results we desire. This manifestation process is not just about what we want materially, but also about how we can manifest a life more aligned with our values and spiritual purpose. The Merkabah also invites us to reflect on our connection to the whole. As a vehicle of ascension, it reminds us that we are not isolated beings, but part of an interconnected universe. This realization can help us develop a deeper sense of responsibility and compassion, not only for ourselves, but also for others. By activating the Merkabah, we are also activating our potential to live more consciously and lovingly, contributing to the well-being of the world around us. Finally, the Merkabah inspires us to continue our journey of self-knowledge and spiritual growth. It shows us that the path of ascension has no end. It is a continuous journey of expansion, learning, and transformation. Each time we activate the Merkabah, we draw closer to our true essence, discover new layers of inner wisdom, and connect more deeply with the divine. This journey is not linear but cyclical, and each cycle takes us to a new level of spiritual understanding and fulfillment. As we conclude this exploration of the Merkabah, it is clear that it is more than just a symbol or spiritual practice. It is an invitation to transformation. Through the Merkabah, we are called to rise, expand our consciousness, and reconnect with the light that resides within each of us. By integrating this practice into our lives, we can not only experience spiritual ascension, but also live more fully, balanced, and aligned with the divine purpose. Now that you know the secrets of the Merkabah and how it can transform your spiritual journey, I want to hear from you, Mind Unfettered. What is the next step you're going to take to activate your Merkabah and align with this powerful geometry of light? Do you feel like you finally have the master key in your hands to manifest a deeper connection with the divine? Leave your comment and share your thoughts or experiences. I can't wait to hear how this practice may be impacting your life. And of course, don't stop here. There is much more to come on your spiritual journey. If you want to continue expanding your consciousness and uncover hidden connections between the pineal gland, Jesus, Freemasonry, and even the Illuminati, click now to watch the next video. Pineal Gland Awakening: The Secret Connection Between Jesus, Freemasonry, and the Illuminati. You will be surprised by what's behind this mystery.